All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're exploring one of literature's darkest, wildest, and honestly most emotionally intense stories ever written, Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. You know, this isn't just a book, it's this unforgettable emotional roller coaster, packed with revenge, heartbreak, and a destructive passion that's so powerful it literally consumes absolutely everything in its path. Let's get right into it. To kick things off, we really need to shatter a super common illusion. This is absolutely not a sweet, safe romance. It's actually a chilling exploration of love in its most dangerous and haunting form. I mean, if ordinary romances are all sweet and safe, Wuthering Heights is sitting on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. In fact, this is the story that single-handedly established those modern tropes of the brooding, dark anti-hero and the toxic romance that we still see absolutely everywhere in media today. It completely flipped the idea of romance on its head by showing us exactly what happens when love crosses that line into complete obsession and total destruction. Part 1. Mysterious Arrival. We begin our journey out on the lonely, windswept moors of England, where a deeply disturbing mystery starts to unfold. So the events build pretty rapidly right from the jump. We've got this gentleman named Lockwood who arrives to rent a place called Thrushcross Grange. He gets curious about his strange, kind of intimidating landlord, Heathcliff, so he decides to visit him at the nearby mansion, Wuthering Heights. But the vibe there is incredibly disturbing. The people are bitter, angry, just emotionally broken. And that very night, Lockwood suffers a terrifying nightmare involving the ghost of a woman named Catherine Earnshaw. Completely shaken up, he basically begs the housekeeper, Nellie Dean, to give him the rundown on the dark history of his landlord. And with that, Nellie begins her tragic tale. Nellie's story flashes back years prior. The owner of the estate, Mr. Earnshaw, brings home this abandoned, orphaned boy he found wandering in Liverpool, and he names him Heathcliff. Now, at first, the family is not having it. They deeply dislike him, especially Catherine's older brother, Hindley. But Catherine herself? Well, she reacts quite differently to this new arrival. Even though he's hated by Hindley, Heathcliff forms this wild, intensely spiritual childhood bond with Catherine. They spend their early years just running wild across the moors, totally free from the rigid rules of society. Their connection goes so deep and it's so intensely emotional that it leads to this truly unforgettable declaration from Catherine. She literally says, "I am Heathcliff." For her, they aren't just lovers, They literally share the exact same soul. Which brings us to part 2, Pride and Betrayal. As Catherine and Heathcliff grow older, the harsh realities of social class start to seriously infect their isolated little world. We quickly see this massive clash between two totally distinct worlds. On one hand, you have the wild, emotional chaos of the Heights, and on the other, the polite, superficial elegance of the Linton family over at Thrushcross Grange. Hindley is now the master of Wuthering Heights, and he treats Heathcliff basically like a servant, leaving him utterly humiliated and bitter. Meanwhile, Catherine meets the wealthy Lintons. She finds herself drawn to Edgar Linton because, well, he's kind, he's educated, and he represents high social status. Basically everything that the rough and chaotic Wuthering Heights is not. So, faced with a deeply relatable human dilemma, Catherine makes a choice that literally changes everyone's lives forever. Even though she still deeply, passionately loves Heathcliff, she chooses to marry the wealthy Edgar Linton. She actually confesses to Nellie that she thinks marrying Heathcliff would degrade her social standing. Her pride and her social ambition become this fatal wedge between her and her true passion. But guys, here is the ultimate tragedy. Heathcliff secretly overhears her confession to Nellie, but he only hears the cruelest part about her social status. Humiliated, he just vanishes into the night. He leaves right before hearing Catherine say that her love for him is actually eternal. It's this heartbreaking, monumental misunderstanding that sets the stage for a lifetime of misery. Catherine marries Edgar, and Heathcliff is just gone. Moving to part 3, Dark Revenge. Years later, Heathcliff mysteriously returns, but he is definitely no longer that poor, abused orphan boy. He comes back as this filthy, cold, and calculated man with a truly terrifying agenda. He methodically executes his vengeance, which is basically this multi-pronged assault designed to systematically destroy both families. Step 1, he manipulates Hyline's gambling and alcoholism until he completely bankrupts him and steals Wuthering Heights. Step 2, he targets Edgar emotionally by marrying Edgar's sister, Isabella Linton. And get this, not for love, but strictly out of spite, which leads to a totally miserable, abusive marriage. And step 3, he ensures this poison drips down to torment the entire next generation. It is a terrifying, all-consuming obsession.
The emotional tension reaches its absolute breaking point when Catherine, who is totally trapped between her wild passion for Heathcliff and her marital duty to Edgar, grows mentally and physically ill. When she and Heathcliff finally reunite, it's just an explosion of pain and anger. Years of pride and jealousy have completely destroyed any chance they had at peace. And then shortly after giving birth to her daughter Kathy, Catherine tragically dies. Her death completely shatters Heathcliff. In one of the most agonizing and honestly famous moments of the entire story, a broken Heathcliff begs Catherine's spirit to haunt him forever rather than leave him alone in the world. He just cannot move on. He cannot heal. His obsession transforms into this absolute all-consuming madness that just eats him from the inside out. Consumed by all that bitterness, he literally spends the next several years inflicting immense generational trauma on the innocent children of his enemies. He traps them in his web of misery. This tormented generation includes young Cathy Linton, Hareton Earnshaw, and even his own sickly son, Linton Heathcliff. His revenge ends up poisoning every single life around him. Because he remains emotionally trapped by Catherine's memory, he makes absolutely sure that everyone else pays the price for his pain. But then we hit part 4, breaking the cycle. After years and years of darkness, the narrative finally pivots from total despair toward the possibility of actual redemption. A glimmer of light begins to appear on those gloomy moors. Unlike the older generation, young Cathy and Hareton slowly begin to unlearn the hatred they were taught. Now, initially, they really dislike each other, which makes sense given the toxic environment Heathcliff created. But over time, they begin to show compassion and genuine understanding. They find hope and healing in their growing love for one another, which symbolizes this powerful, conscious choice to finally reject the vicious cycle of revenge. Meanwhile, Heathcliff is being driven completely to madness by these haunting visions of Catherine. He starts seeing her everywhere. He entirely stops caring about his revenge, and eventually, he just stops eating, starving himself to death. It's almost as if Catherine's ghost is literally calling him toward the grave. When he finally dies alone at Wuthering Heights, his passing brings peace, breaking the curse over the two estates once and for all. Cathy and Hareton are finally free to marry and leave all that dark history behind them.
Which brings us to part 5, the legacy of passion. To wrap up this explainer, let's take a step back and examine exactly why this tragic, Gothic tale remains such a monumental literary masterpiece today.
The story just brilliantly uses these elements, storms, ghosts, dark mansions, to explore some incredibly heavy, complex themes. It shows how uncontrolled passion can act as this destructive force of nature. We see the incredibly thin, dangerous line between love and pure obsession. We see the raw power of nature clashing head-on with the polite, rigid rules of civilization. And of course, we see the devastating, long-lasting effects of generational trauma. The Gothic atmosphere of the wild landscapes perfectly reflects all the emotional chaos churning inside these characters. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thoughts. Look at the evidence we've covered today and decide for yourself the true nature of literature's most infamous antihero. Is Heathcliff a true villain? A monster who terrorized innocent people out of pure spite? Or is he a tragic victim, a deeply broken man utterly destroyed by the unbearable weight of a love he just could not have? According to local legends in the story, the spirits of Heathcliff and Catherine still wander those lonely moors together, proving that even in death, some passions simply refuse to disappear. Definitely something to think about as you reflect on this dark, incredible story. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.